Let me set the scene. Your teammate hits the ball towards the net. It's a shot. They save it to the corner, but your teammate gets it back mid. It looks open, so he decides to go, not realizing that they're there. And they shoot. And all he can do is watch. This is how you hit the ball in Rocket League. In our last video, we discussed power and accuracy, and today we're going to be talking about should you even be hitting the ball. This is arguably the hardest thing in Rocket League. Why? Well, let's go back to our previous example. It looked like it was open, but it really wasn't. So what should he have done?
Well, we'll answer this important question, as well as discussing and exploring various ways in which you're going to hit the ball. We're going to discuss as to why people are not getting this right. And finally, we're going to answer the question as to why no one can hit the ball in Rocket League. Why do you hit the ball? Is it to shoot the ball, let's say? Is it to pass? Is it to clear the ball away from your defensive half? Is it to pressure them into doing something? Is it simply just to stop them from getting a shot? Well, let's begin with shooting. So what makes a good shot on goal? Well, firstly, it needs to be accurate, it needs to have power on it, it needs to pressure them, and if you can, get them to use boost, but in essence, it needs to get them to do something. Whether it's use boost, jump up for the ball, and save it, anything that makes them do something. Why do we do this? Well, we want to force mistakes out of our opponents. So weak hits that are not on net or are right to the defender are not good shots. They don't get the opponent to use boost, and it doesn't put them in an uncomfortable position. If your shot does none of these things, don't shoot. I will go through this later in the video, but in essence, shooting unnecessarily or putting a bad shot on net is simply just giving up the ball for free. What about passing then? A good pass is one that's to your teammate's advantage. The hit needs to be into space, not directly at your teammate. This allows for them to drive into it and gain more power rather than backing up and not being able to hit it properly. It also should draw in one of the opponents so that they are now out of the play. But finally, the most important thing is that it can't be cut off by the opponents. A good pass might look great to go for, but if they can cut it off, there is no point. The start of this video is a perfect example of why you shouldn't always go for the ball whenever you receive a pass. This is because it leaves your net wide open, especially if you are last man back. So passing only works if you are able to cover the net afterwards, even if it goes wrong. Because if you do get a shot off from the pass, it will be really, really good. However, if they cut it off, it's obviously really, really bad. And this is because you commit to the ball. So as long as you can cover the net after you've done a pass, then passing is absolutely fine. But if you can't, then do not commit to the play. So what about clearing the ball? Well, the aim of clearing the ball is to simply relieve pressure. If you're in your defensive half and you've been defending for a while, clearing the ball allows you to gain extra time to get boost and gain a little bit of territory. This also can put pressure on the opponents to do something so that they have to use boost and concede territory. A bad clear is one that is just straight to the opponents, allowing them to clear it back into your half or to set up another attack for them. This is essentially just giving up possession, so you have to be smart with how you do it. The key thing with a clear is that it has to have lots of power and it has to go pretty far as well. Finally, what about stopping them from getting, say, a shot or a hit? Well, some general rules is that you should flip into the ball. This avoids unnecessary pinches that could go to your corners or your sidewalls, which is something you really want to avoid because they set up a perfect attack on them. If you're wanting to stop them from getting a shot or a general hit, you have to take what's called a 50-50. And essentially, the best way to do this is to flip into the ball using your roof. And this is because it creates a bigger surface area, which is able to block their hit a lot easier. Think of it as you're making your car like a giant shield. Another rule is also just to avoid using boost on defense. You want to conserve as much as you can because they may well get a shot afterward. So when you're taking 50s, try to avoid boosting heavily throughout it. Now we're going to answer that $1 million question. Should you hit the ball? Well, the simple answer is yes, but only if you can't get scored on. What do I mean by this? Well, we're going to talk about a thing called risk evasion. So essentially what risk evasion is weighing up the risk and reward factor of going for any ball in Rocket League. So going back to our example at the start of the video, you can see that the reward is obviously a goal. The risk is getting scored on. So you have to weigh up the likelihood of either happening. So because most people suck at this, the general rule is that unless you are 99% sure you can score or you can get a favorable 50-50 out of it, do not go for the ball. This is to stop easy goals like the one at the start of the video from occurring, and even if it ended up being a free goal, at least you have not conceded. This is probably one of the most important and hardest bits in Rocket League. So how do you judge when to go or when not to go? Simple. If you can't execute the things in this video, say the power needed in a shot or the pass is going to get cut off, just don't do it. If you are not sure, it's safer to rotate back and collect the boost than to try go for a 50 that may well just end up in your net. It is also important to recognize when you should be doing any of these things. For instance, you shouldn't be shooting if there are two defenders waiting for you to shoot. You shouldn't be passing if they're literally waiting for you to pass. You shouldn't clear the ball if you're not under any pressure. And sometimes you don't even need to stop what they're doing because they're not going to get a shot on net. It's not a realistic opportunity. So it's very important to recognize when it's appropriate to do these mechanics. You won't get this right straight away, but hopefully this video acts as a bit of a guideline as to when and when you shouldn't hit the ball in Rocket League. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so if you liked the video, feel free to let me know in the comments if you want me to do anything else, and please like and subscribe for more content like this. Catch you in the next video.